Hey guys, welcome to the groundbreaking ceremony for Mountain View Fellowship's first facility. I think it's poetic that on this day, our 10th anniversary, here we are standing on this ground, ready to break ground. And I want to thank a few people and invite some others to come forward and grab these shovels. But before we get to that place, there's several people that we need to remember. And then just before that, I think we need to start where we should. It's by remembering God, who has made all this impossible in the first place. And so one of the things I want to do is I want to share with you his faithfulness as we have walked with him over the last 10 years. So these are just some highlights of God's faithfulness. May of 2005, a small group of people got together in a basement of a house, and we began to dream of a church where, as they put it, where only God held the reins. A church where, again, in their words, was serious about reaching the lost, and we talked about that this morning. And I loved this one. This was one that kind of stuck with us as we continued, where a suit would be sitting next to a mohawk. And it was just a great statement. We all agreed with it. And here's what's so funny about it. We got a guy on stage who's got a mohawk, and we can't find any suits anywhere. So we're going to have to start reaching out to suits. Summer of 2005, we started to rent a 700 square foot office in Bennett. And it cost us $700 a month. We were so freaked out. We didn't know where the money was going to come from, but God was faithful. October 2nd, 2005, our launch team got together and they assembled at the cafeteria here in Strasburg and did our first services. And we were sitting there so worried that no one was going to show up, but God was faithful. And people started flowing through the doors, and that has continued for the last 10 years. Now, all the while, we've been renting space like the community room at Valley Bank, where other ministries can meet, where people like our youth group can come and gather, Recovering Christ, all these different ministries. We've been meeting in those spaces. Our youth group met over at Valley Bank for years. They used to go in and set up and tear down until they outgrew that space. And we weren't sure that we could even reach youth in rented facility, but God was faithful. March 2009, we signed the loan to purchase this 38 acres. It was a staggering $165,000. We had no idea where we were going to come up with the money, how we were going to afford the payments, but God was faithful. July 2010, we paid the loan off in 16 months. We became the proud owners of this piece of property. In that moment, we realized, and as the elders put it, that God didn't give us this land for us just to look at, but he wanted us to build on it. April 2011, we moved our offices to office warehouse space over here on Monroe Street in Strasburg. It went from $700 a month to $3,000 a month. Although we knew it was critical to grow the ministries of the church, we were scared to death, not sure if we could make that, but God was faithful. Amen. October 2012, due to growth issues, the elders decided to move our services from Strasburg Elementary cafeteria. For 3 years, we would grow and we would hit the walls and then it would die down because it was just too uncomfortable. They made the decision to move our services from Strasburg Elementary over to the auditorium at Bennett High School, and our weekly rent went up by $450 every Sunday. We were freaked out. We knew God wanted us to reach the community, but we weren't sure how he was going to make that rent. But God was faithful. And since then, we've seen Mountain View steadily grow. Today, October 4th, 2015, we're here standing on this ground. We're about to break ground on a 24,000 square foot facility. It's a multi-purpose facility. The estimated cost is $2.55 million. Do I need to say that we're a little worried? But you know, I'm learning not to worry as much anymore. Because, say it with me,
God is faithful.
He's faithful. I want to introduce a few people to you. We are blessed to have several people. We called a lot of people that had a hand in this, and our general contractor architect could not make it out today. But we do have a representative from the Solomon Foundation, Bill Shakolsky. Did I say that right? Bill Shakolsky. And he's here with us today. And the Solomon Foundation Foundation, obviously, is who's helping us. They partnered with us to get us the loan to make this thing happen, and so obviously we couldn't do that without them. So, Bill, thank you for being here today. Also, we want to thank some former elders who sat on this board for many, many years. They have since stepped off for just different reasons, and we're blessed, though, because we have them here. And, man, they were a part of this. I mean, every step of the way. And so I don't know if Roger Colburn is here. Is he here? Don't think he's here. Roger Colburn, for those of you that know him, man, thank him. He was a big part of this. Roger's actually the guy that stood on this property and said, I think this is the one God's given us. And so Shane Smith, where's he at? Shane Smith, thank you so much, sir. Served many, many years on this board and drove us in this direction. Rick Benson, I know I saw him. There he is. Rick, thank you. Rick was very instrumental, was the chairman of the board for many years. And then John Knopfsinger, who, John, thank you, who got married and retired and moved to Pueblo West where there's golfing and boating, so we don't feel as sorry for him. John, thanks for driving all the way up here this morning. Guys, I want to invite a few people to come and grab some shovels, put a shovel in your hand real quick. We do have one elder who could not be here today for personal reasons, who's traveling out of state, and he is so bummed he couldn't be here, Randy Forehand. And all of you know him because he shakes your hand at the door and he knows every one of us by name. I don't know how the guy does it. It's a spiritual gift. But we've asked his son-in-law, Nathan Fritzler, to step in his place. And so, Nathan, if you'd step up and grab one of those for us. Because Randy's a big part of our board, and we just couldn't do that without him. So we needed somebody to at least stand in his place. Also, Dustin Armbruce. These are your elders, your current elders. Ron and Gotti. And Russ Hinkle. Mike Greer. Jeff Regan. And I know there's one other. No, this is our chairman, Bud Smith. And I'm going to ask our pastors if they'd come forward. Our missions and outreach pastor, Ryan Dwyer. We mainly put him on just for man status. So. Our worship and let me see, where is he at? Looking for him. There he is. Our worship arts pastor, Titus Curtis. And then, of course, our youth pastor, Jeff Otter. All right, guys, here we go. This is a day we've been waiting for a very, very long time, and we are just going to take one big chunk out of it and hold it up for pictures, commemorating this day of just breaking ground and moving forward on this building. And so on three, in honor of God's faithfulness and all that He's done and what He will do in the future. 1, 2, 3. All right, if you want to move over here, we're going to start baptisms and we'll jump into them right away.